Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. I got a doozy of an episode for you guys. This one's pretty good. We got a great show for you today. Today's guests are Gabby LaRusso and Warren KirschBaum. An interesting conversation with these two characters. They're comedians. They just finished comedy classes. You know, I've talked about how I feel about classes in the past, but now I'm kind of on the fence. Maybe I want to start teaching comedy classes, but I've never taken one personally. But Warren and Gabby, man, they kind of went on to the topic of the adult entertainment industry. And I kind of, we can talk about the old adult entertainment. Of course, you gotta talk about it sometimes. I mean, if you look at it, there's a lot more people on camera make money doing things that way. You know, that kind of entertainment will get you paid quick. It's the money grab of entertainment. You just reach out there and take that money with adult entertainment. I tried to steer the podcast in a complete 180 tonight. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you're listening to this podcast and you wanted to hear a portion of one of my plays or screenplays, I would say Pawnbrokers is more of a screenplay, which is available on Amazon.com. If you go to Amazon.com, type in Matt Heath. My screenplays Pawnbrokers, Renaissance Men, and Ms. Scrooge will all pop right up. But if you want to hear a little bit of the first act of Pawnbrokers, this is the episode. This is the episode where we give you a little bit of that. Also, if you want to check out my comedy album, it's on YouTube. Same page as this podcast, so check that out. It's called Matt Heath, Class Clown Revisited. All right, so without further ado, this is the 1000 Comics Podcast. This is my interview with Warren KirschBaum and Gabby LaRusso.
How should I know?
All right, this is it. This is the podcast. Welcome, my guests, Gabby and Warren, to the 1000 Comics Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is it. We're here. What do you think of
The studio's incredible.
my hideaway?
It's a shame it's getting shut down soon.
It's getting a little, this old Dillard's?
Did this used to be a Dillard's? I feel like I used to buy pants here.
I like it.
I laugh at that more. The first time I heard it, I was like, eh. Every time I hear it, it gets funnier and funnier to me.
That's true. Yeah.
I think that's the first time that joke has been referenced on this podcast.
How do you not reference
Really?
it?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Not everybody walks into my house repeating my material.
Yeah, that's every time.
That's the last thing people want to do usually.
That's because most of the comedians walk out. They do their set, walk outside because they don't want to have to buy a drink or something to eat.
Or listen to somebody else.
Right, God forbid it. Yeah, they'll listen
All
to
right,
somebody else.
let's talk about the roast. You guys came to my roast. I want to know what you guys thought of it.
I mean, there's some real anger towards you. I think legitimate anger.
A real, actual anger.
Right, not fake. Let's write down some jokes, but like, I hate this guy, and I'd hit him if I could. But let me see if I could emasculate him with my humor.
I think that's the whole point of a roast.
That is, but I think there's it's supposed to be lovingly, like, we're gonna miss you, or but here it's like, get the fuck out, and here I'm gonna say some shit that I wanted to say to you, and I'm gonna do it to your face in front of an audience.
And everybody's going to laugh.
Right. Let's go specifically then. Sarah Cutler seems to actually legitimately hate you.
Yeah, I felt like there was.
No, I've actually had a conversation with her after that. She doesn't really hate me. That's all comedic anger.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
well, then I thought perhaps it's coming. Brian Coronado claims to be the writer of the majority of those jokes.
He does? I haven't talked to him about it.
Yeah, I happened to, coincidentally.
And that was a joke that I made that did Coronado, and I could I could see the hate coming from Coronado. It's just because Coronado's an asshole.
There you go.
and
I don't know him.
He could listen to this podcast and hear that and still whatever, it's Matt Heath.
Right. No, he's...
Well, I think me and Coronado kind of got a friendly rivalry going on in comedy. I don't know.
Did you both sleep with Sarah Cutler?
No. We actually both didn't. Not him. I haven't slept with Sarah Cutler. Was that the question?
I think it was not. If you slept with Brian, good for you. That's
your
a more
imagination went pretty far off. Though.
Like,
I saw your eyes roll back in your head. You're like,
it's like, how does he know that? I'm just gonna play dumb.
Right. That was good.
Wow. So how long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing it about 5 years, and you guys started when?
I've only been taking it serious. I tried it 10 years ago. Did a comedy class, did the one show, and then didn't touch it for 10 years.
Right.
Then this time I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get out there and just give it a fucking shot and go out a couple nights a week.
And when did you start?
I took that class at the Improv February or March. So and we're in July now. So
yeah, our graduation.
So you both took the same comedy class.
We met over there in that class.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you guys have kind of been partners in the business end of comedy since you both started. Wouldn't you say?
We fell into some lucky stuff together.
Yeah, I agree. And we were both able to be consistent enough with it. The people that we were trying to write with after the group and keep us, bouncing ideas off each other, they were just as busy. So I think we kept it up, and I'm always out by him. So it's just let's go do comedy.
Right, yeah.
Do you guys run multiple rooms, or you just got the one room that you had me at, which is...
Yeah, the West Palm Brewery, which is...
The West Palm Brewery.
That's it.
It used to be another bar.
I almost I wanted to finish that for you. So I was excited.
The West Palm Brewery. Well, I think it's a great room. I enjoyed that you've had me there the past couple times you've done it there. I think the last time was great because that was something I've never seen in stand-up comedy. Was that old dude bringing in like a baby?
Yeah.
He was it was a toddler, and the toddler just gets on stage with the comedian, just starts playing with the truck on stage.
And I don't think you realized the truck was remote control, and the grandfather was playing with it. I didn't realize it at first, but he was actually driving it around the stage like a fucking child. While
That's kind of pervy.
I think so. Yeah, I think he liked it, right, because it was Tierney McCulley was
right.
Mm-hmm.
No,
and she was very
no. The kid was just playing with it. He was pushing it around.
No, it was remote control. The grandfather, because I was like, all right, I guess I'm the host. I guess I've never had this come up before, but I assume if a child goes on the stage, you're supposed to do something.
So what? You think the guy was interested in tyranny? That's why he was doing it? Or?
Well, I think he enjoyed hitting her in the leg with the truck. I would imagine.
No, I'm not, because I was there. I saw the kid playing with it.
No, the kid was playing with
the
it.
truck.
But it was the grandfather. I walked over to him. I was like, maybe.
What do you think? Do you think there was something diabolical going on there? Like this old guy, he was he actually had this whole plan. I'm gonna take this kid. All right, what I want you to do when we go inside.
It wasn't even a kid. It was a dwarf. They've been working the scam for years. Picking up female comedians on the road. It's something you got to watch out for, ladies. Oh, watch out,
I'd
Gabby.
only go with you.
What do you think?
Right.
I want to know what Gabby thinks. Do you think there was something diabolical going on with that guy, or what?
I was looking at him, trying to figure out, why are you not getting your baby off the stage? Aren't you supposed to be in charge of that baby?
He obviously grandparents do not give a fuck.
He did not.
You ever notice that?
Fuck. I felt like he was looking down at the table the whole time.
Grandchildren
he
are
like,
like
zoned out.
That's just an extension of you. It's just like the parenting has ended. It's more like the kid's just an extension of me. It's like I'm glad. I think it's kind of funny that kid's on stage right now. He doesn't really care, you know. Right. So there's some passiveness to it that it's like I don't know.
I thought it was like the owner's kid or something. Somebody said something.
No, it was one of the waitresses.
Yeah, it was just the waitress. But I was
Danielle.
Danielle. There's no I in it. It's like Daniela.
That one.
Yeah.
And she didn't seem to mind that the kid was up there. I think she was ecstatic about it. She was probably like, oh, he's on stage. Play or
no, but she came up after and apologized for it. She said, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize, blah blah blah. But
and Tierney, to her credit, was like, she's like, I've done worse. So she said, and I bet it will be a good story. I bet she tells it as a story in the future. So we gave her that.
She had mentioned one time I did stand up in a laundromat, and I thought this is as bad as it gets.
Right. And she said
until tonight. I was like, okay, great. I'm glad you had fun.
I wonder how she ended up doing that.
She was at N2.
How she ended up our show? Or the laundromat? Or how did she
how she ended up doing stand up at a laundromat? Yeah.
I think she was. I talked to her for a little bit after the show.
Promoting everywhere.
Yeah, I think she was just trying to do shows and actually to make some. She's got some app going too.
So I love doing laundry here. Can I put a microphone in the center and just talk to people?
I guess.
I don't know. I always saw laundry mats were kind of a funny play. Like think about it, like Seinfeld must have like a good 10 minutes on the laundromat. I think.
Right.
You know, like whenever I'm at the laundromat, I'm always like. Thinking everything that's going on right now is fun. I've written a joke every time I've ever been at the laundromat. I think
you should go back to the laundromat. But I think a New York City laundromat is different. Like here, I felt like if I go to the laundromat, I'd be like, oh, something's wrong with my life. In New York City, I'm like, you probably go to the laundromat here, don't you?
I do. I don't have a washer and dryer. You know, like it's just a 1-bedroom apartment. I go do my laundry at the laundromat.
All right.
The houses back here were built like. In the 60s when
people didn't have clothes?
When people didn't wear clothes and nobody gave a shit.
I had a house down the street from here, just a mere few blocks. And
yeah.
Oh, that's right. The washer and dryer was like outside, technically. I mean, not technically, it was just outside. Yeah, good point.
It used to be a fishing town, so it wasn't like...
I don't mind going to a laundromat, though. I'm getting kind of like used to it. Like, the clothes are a lot cleaner, I think, with those laundromat washers and dryers.
Well, do you think it'd be a good venue?
For a comedy show, I would try anything once. I would do if somebody said, "Hey, we're running Matt, we're running open mic at a laundromat."
You're going to Connecticut? Are you going somewhere like somewhere you can get to the city easily?
You know, the thing is, I think like some of the greatest comedic minds discovered their own brilliance in like strange places. You know, like Steve Martin was probably the first guy to really start doing stand-up in coffee shops because there was no comedy clubs back then. Like, you should read his book, Born Standing Up. That's where he really discovered himself as a stand-up, like in coffee shops. While like a guy like Louis C.K. realized the best way to start writing, he was like doing stand-up in like Chinese restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tracy Morgan also did stand-up in Chinese restaurants. A lot of New York comedians
in Chinese restaurants
end up in Chinese restaurants.
What I want to do in New York, one day I'll find somebody dumb enough to do it with me, is do it on the subway, go from like car to car, and just alternate introducing the other guy, and just do like just constantly, just a new show every 2 minutes between every stop. Go to the next car. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mind while I interrupt.
Have you guys met Chris Shepard?
Yeah.
Yes.
We've discussed this before. Just guerrilla comedy shows. You show up with an amp, a microphone, and you're just like in random public places.
I just like the subway idea because like almost treat it like as if you're homeless. But then if I could find another sucker to do with me, then you alternate. At each train, you host for the next person on each car. All right, come into this car. We got a very funny comedian. You might know him from the E-Line. We got Matt Heath coming to this.
You got to do the F train. The F train's the best train.
There you go.
Get on the F train. We're doing stand-up here on the F train. F train's the best train.
So what's the worst place you ever did stand-up?
The worst
Yeah,
place I've
actually, in
ever
public.
done stand-up? I don't know if it's the worst place to do stand-up, but it was a video store. I think it's like one of the last remaining video stores in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I did stand-up there. I'm not saying it's a bad place to do stand-up, and I'm not saying it's a bad place to write videos. I'm sure it's a great business. But I definitely had a bad experience, I think. I definitely ruined a relationship doing stand-up in a place like that.
Your own or somebody else's?
What?
Your own or somebody else's?
My relationship.
Oh, okay.
I broke up with somebody just 2 or 3 weeks ago at a show.
Really?
At Dada.
Oh, all right.
I don't know if you were there. So I've been dating this girl actually on and off for a couple of years. I never invited her to the shows, and we'll see why shortly. So I finally invited her to our show at the brewery.
Right.
And we had Grant Lyon. Gabby was able to grab Grant Lyon, get him to actually come to our little show for free.
Right.
I think she threw one of her friends at him, but that's neither here nor there.
No.
No.
I don't have to do that.
No.
I just sat by idly as it happened.
There you go. So she was starting to drink there, and I was hosting that show, and she's starting to yell out to me, heckling me. And so we had a friend or two go up to her and go, look, that's not right. And she's like, I'm helping. And
She thought that she was contributing.
She really thought
in
she
some
was contributing.
positive
You were
way.
dating a heckler?
Yes. She's got problems being in public, in my opinion. I hope she listens to this.
Yeah, she was not ready for comedy night. You know how some people
Right.
they come to town.
Well, how
and
long
they
was
say,
this
"Oh, I don't know if
relationship,
I'm ready
Warren?
for
It was on and
Miami."
off for 3 years.
Oh, for 3? But was this her first time at a comedy show?
No, not at a comedy show. I'm trying to think that.
I just don't think she knows how to interact.
She
with
doesn't.
people.
Yeah, it's more like how to act in public. And she would have this issue. Like if I'd get upset if she couldn't. Like I might like to get drunk and fucked up sometimes, but I'll just keep it in control.
Right.
And she wouldn't. Her thing would be like, you don't know any of these people. What does it matter? You're never going to see them after tonight. And I'm like, okay, but I'm still uncomfortable right now. But in this scenario, I knew everybody there. And it was bad enough, and but Grant Lyon was going over to Dada. I'm like, hey, let's all just do another set at Dada tonight.
Well, yeah.
She treated the stand-up show more like it was a one-on-one conversation.
Right. So if you have, I mean, if you've been to Dada, but for anyone who hasn't, the way
that's the worst kind of heckler too. Yeah, like the monologue just like turns into a dialogue with that one heckler.
So she became the focus, and I had the way the stage of Dada is set up. Not even it's like
every rhetorical question she answered out loud, so that everybody knew what the correct answer was.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to go. I moved the bar stool between her and the comedian. Gabby and another comedy were sitting on the couch there at Dada, just laughing at me.
Right.
Anytime she would talk, I'd swivel my chair.
That was my date, by the way.
That was your date.
I had a date on the couch with me, and
You both had a date.
You had a date
Wait,
on the
this was the night
San Diego?
after your show.
Yep.
The night with Grant Lyon. All right.
Yeah.
You just said that.
So she's just.
So I was there. Yeah.
Well,
I didn't
Grant
even-
Lyon starts calling her out.
Okay.
He starts calling me out. He goes, "Look, he's swiveling again." Because every time she'd talk, I'd swivel the bar stool back over there, and I pulled her aside. I'm like, "Look, you can't do this," and she's getting more fucked up.
no, it was just literally every rhetorical question. She walked closer and answered louder.
We hear like New York.
I
I'm
didn't
from
sit down
the
one
Bronx.
She didn't sit down one time.
No.
Was your date the guy that was dressed exactly like Grant Lyon?
I thought you were talking to
Were
Grant
they?
Lyon. Yes, I thought he was.
Oh yeah, they were, because Brittany pointed out that her and I were wearing a similar outfit too. She's like, "Wow, this is kind of."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, she's talking to Grant Lyon." I'm like, "Wait, Grant Lyon's over there." I'm very confused, and then I realized
Yeah, I know. It was
who it was.
old coworker.
So yeah, I was actually supposed to go up there, and I was like, I finally had to pull her out of the bar and got her in the car. It's like, "Are you gonna break up with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now."
Oh, okay. Rats, man. Sorry it didn't.
No, it was good.
It didn't work out
I just
for you
needed
there.
a good excuse, and that was a great one.
That was a really good one because she made an ass out of herself and everyone. But it's all right.
Yeah, so then it ruined her whole theory of, you don't know these people. I'm like, no, I know them. I see them all a couple times a week. So.
I will have to talk about them. We'll talk about this with them the next time I see them, which will probably be tomorrow.
Guys, this is an evening. This is the first podcast I've recorded in the evening, so there's definitely adult beverages happening in this one.
All right.
Do you have the magic pen?
The magic pen?
Well, somebody might have one, I would say.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
No. It's not magic, if you say it like that.
No, it's magic.
What is this? I've never even...
This is...
Love Street. You know, I don't drink often, but...
Love
I think I'm
Street
gonna have
from
some Love-
KirschBaum Brewing. I'm not trying to advertise for you.
That used to
But
be
if
a
you guys
comedy
want to
club.
send me some free ones,
I used to do stand-up there.
accepting.
I will happily accept
Cheers,
Love
everybody.
Streets from the KirschBaum Brewing.
Cheers.
Cold and refreshing. Brewed in Texas. Wow.
Yeah, these are good summer beer. I don't know why I keep buying them.
I love blondes. That's a good one.
All right, let's keep the conversation going here. I'm sorry.
Sure.
How about? So, I want to know. I want to bring it back to the roast. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
Who did you guys think was it? Who was your favorite person on the roast?
No.
No, you didn't like. You didn't like Sarah, and there was a lot of. I'll say this. I'll say two things about Sarah being on the roast. I actually enjoy her jokes. They cut deep, but they were impressively well written. And if Coronado wrote them or not, it was a good performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think who the best roaster? I don't even know what Anthony Trevor.
Anthony Turzo.
Turzo, not Trevor. Yes.
So you liked Anthony Turzo?
I thought like his roast. I think he took the spirit of the roast. The best. I think he got everybody on the dais
right.
well, and then attacked you well. And I thought a more loving. I like to see a little bit of love behind the hate. And
sometimes I think our good roasts will have a balance of some will hate with love, some is just straight hate, some is just weird love kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep, agreed. Best comment. Let's see. I think Nadine did very well, right?
Oh yeah, I think he did.
Nadeem was very funny. I enjoyed a lot of his material too.
I think my favorite reference he did talking about Kerrigan. I think he described her pussy as crumpled up homework.
Yeah,
and I thought that was a fantastic.
Crinkled paper or something.
I liked where Nadeem was moving around his arms a lot like an Italian, saying doing an impression of Turzo, and he's like, "I'm not gay, by the way."
That was fun.
That was funny.
Yeah, and funny.
No, I was. Have you done a roast before?
I've been on a roast before, and I also ruined a relationship being on that roast back in Connecticut. It was the roast of Andy Sharp, and I was very unprepared for this roast. This was the guy who used to run Joker's Wild, a comedy club up in Connecticut, and I was really unprepared for the show. Like I had jokes, but I didn't write with any consistency. Like I knew I wasn't going to be able to commit to every joke.
Right.
It's like, here's my impression of Andy Sharp. I'm Andy Sharp from Joker's Wild.
It was essentially like that. Yeah.
I get a kick out of the B. Arthur one too. I don't know why.
I think the problem back then was I couldn't commit to being mean to people on stage, and it was really hard to stick to the notes that I had written for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah, that could be difficult. Usually, I say a bunch of really mean things to people and then follow with something.
I'm just
nice
sarcastic.
And, a lot of smiling, like, ha ha ha, it's funny, right?
But it was back then. This was almost 3 years ago now. This roast was, but I was really unprepared. It was in my first couple of years doing comedy, and I remember they had me the first one up. I was the first comedian up during the roast.
Sounds like a very similar story.
And it was very similar to Victor Petro, how Cintron mentioned to me, like, put him on the roast. He really wanted to be on the roast, and then he's just on the roast. So I was like, you know what? He kind of like the way he got picked to be on the roast was very similar to how I got to be picked to be on the first roast that I did. And he went up first, and he did kind of poorly, but like it's almost like a bonding experience between stand-ups, I think,
having to do that.
Do a roast and like you're kind of
having to like be in front of other comedians who are also going to do the same thing, like a variation of the same thing you're doing,
and going to give you a really hard time if you're bad.
And possibly rip you a new asshole while they're up there.
That's intimidating because it's weird. Stand up is you have to be unique to yourself. You gotta just tell a joke. Like a roast is a very almost like a fraternity kind of thing to do. You know what I mean? Where it's
no, definitely
it's very much different than typical stand up.
No, I like the fraternity aspect of it. I like the whole. I mean, I'm getting into this game late. I mean, I'm 46, so
right.
Everyone else there is 20 something,
right,
or 30. So it's like, all right, I should have done this a long time ago. But
does that intimidate you at all? Like starting late in the game?
Yeah, I mean, part of me is like, well, I'm not going to have like. I'm only going to go on the road in my, if I'm starting this year, if I figure I want to do, 2 years of like just doing these open mics and then like trying to find some, and I'm going to go on the road with, as somebody's feature driving around. Maybe I will, because I mean, I've had a real career, which I'm kind of done, ready to be done with. So, I mean, it's a weird way to go about it. I mean, I'd like to.
What do you think? You think there's an age limit on stand-up, Gabby? You think if you're like 87 years old and you decide you want to get in front of a microphone and start telling jokes?
No, not at all.
You should be able to do that, right?
Especially if you got some like good, consistent, clean, and also kind of sexual jokes like Leon has.
Leon Arp, yes. I mean, right, I look at that going, I'd like to be doing that when I'm...
Leon Arp?
Yeah. I'd like to be doing Leon Arp. His asshole looks really tight.
Yeah, no, there's no
I'm sure Leon Arp appreciates the compliment.
Everybody's got their own, like, flair.
Right, no, he's there, like, I mean, I don't know how long he's been doing it. I don't know if he decided to do it 2 years ago or if he's been, like, open micing it for the last 40, 50. But
well, I think he used to be a piano player on a cruise ship, like, and he got, I don't know if he got into comedy that way.
That's where I knew him from. I was like, you look so familiar, the way you move your hands around like that.
It's a piano, like one of the, right, you play piano on the cruise ship, you're doing comedy, essentially.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I think Rodney Dangerfield started comedy in his 40s, so I look at that.
I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of, like, Tony, have you met Tony Tata yet?
No, I haven't.
You guys, because you guys kind of have a thing with your shows where you have, like, a bit of a headliner.
Yeah, we tried to.
Be on at the end. You should have him be on at the end and play the keyboard and just do his thing, because it'd be a good closer for your type of show.
Really
right, we need an instrument.
Yeah, somebody needs an instrument up there. I felt like
That's what it's been lacking. That's why we don't have the crowds we're expecting.
Why didn't you guys put on the show today? Was there just some kind of discrepancy? Or something?
There was. Some issues with the venue. We're going to a once-a-month show now.
Right.
So, we did, I guess, 6 or 7 weeks of every week. And it was good. They were giving the comics food and drink. But then the last couple of weeks, they started going, how many people were there?
Right.
And then they had bought they didn't have sound equipment. So the first week, they had me go out and get it, and they paid me back. And then this week, they went, hey, can you still return that? I go, well, what are we going to use? And then they were like, yeah, I guess we're going to have to figure that out. So,
that doesn't.
This is not sounding promising here, Warren.
That's right. So,
no, they have that giant sound system already.
They won't let us hook up to. Right, they have a whole.
Right, because they can't figure that out yet. And we kept hearing that they were going to work on the system, and they said that the speakers were, kind of expensive for a system they already had in place. So.
Right, and I actually went out and bought I don't know if you remember, we were there the first couple weeks. The sound, you couldn't hear it in certain parts of the box. So I actually went out and bought another Like
No,
PAs.
the first week it was terrible. Nobody could hear us.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks.
Mhm.
The first 2 or 3 weeks, it was terrible. And I went out and bought another speaker. And because the first week we had a really good show, and I promoted it. I got a pretty decent crowd there. And then there was no sound, so I didn't really push it. And then when they started making noise about the speaker,
Right.
so we went to this. We're gonna go with the once a month show. They didn't want the same comics there. They go, no one should be able to do it more than every other month. And they wanted it every week, and I had to book 10 people to, it wasn't an open
But
mic.
these
They
were all
want
changes that
fresh
we were
talent.
doing.
They
Yeah, I
want.
So I was
But these were all changes that we were trying to work with anyway. It was our first time
Right.
putting it on at a venue like that. So, we had a couple of kinks to work out, and, Randy Vega actually helped us
Yeah, Randy was
tremendously. Yeah, he was able to, suggest this, suggest that, and we were getting to be decent at it. But there
Would you guys think of my suggestion of putting the comedians
in the back.
in the back corner?
Yeah.
No, I did that. We did that the first week, and it was just,
And it was just finally getting to the time where we had run the show enough where people were asking us, "Oh, I would love to be on your show," and we had to filter. We wouldn't have had any repeats this
Right.
week anyway.
yeah.
All right.
But I texted
So-
everybody. I was like, "Did I?" Make
When's
that?" I was like,
the next show going to be there?
September 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever the first Tuesday of.
First Tuesday of September.
Right. So if you're listening to this,
If you're listening to this, definitely come out because it's going to be a good show.
right, you can check Gabby's Twitter to confirm.
I don't stop.
Oh, Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook.
Right, Gabby's new to recently new again to Facebook. She realized she needed it for stand up because everyone was asking, like, I can't find you.
Yeah.
So I know she was apparently
Apparently
hiding
have
for
to be
somebody.
on the internet.
September 4th, by the way. 2018, if you listen to this, 2019, you missed it. Sorry.
You know what I wanted to do since I usually write a comedy skit for
We heard that.
Right.
the podcast, but I wanted to do something a little bit different because you are a fan of my books.
Keep your pants on, Warren.
You always buy my books when I bring a new one to a venue, and I was wondering if we could do some reading of one of my plays.
Porn stars or Renaissance men?
Well, which one would you rather do? Pawn Stars are the only ones I got copies freely sitting around.
Porn star, that would be. I didn't memorize
Pawn,
Renaissance.
not Pawn. I even call it by the wrong name.
Pawn Brokers,
The
so
book
sorry.
is Pawn Brokers.
No, fuck
Right,
that.
Pawn Stars is a registered trademark of TLC and somebody. Do you have it memorized?
No, but I gotta
got it.
pull up one on my computer. Is this something you guys want to do? I'm not gonna.
We'll give it a shot. If it's not funny, we'll stop.
All right. How about Gabby? What you could do is read for every female character,
How will I know?
Nadine,
Which
the ones that
the ones that appear to be female
it's
names.
a simple show. They don't do anything creative.
So Tito is
Tito is a man.
okay.
Tito is most certainly a man. So you'd be reading for Nadine and
Jimmy.
And so people know they can get this
Who?
book on Amazon, right?
Junie?
Jimmy.
Jimmy would be
No,
male.
Jimmy's a man. I'll read for Jimmy, and you read for every other male character.
All right, and every male that's not is the customer male or female?
Customer's a male. I mean.
All right, then that
Hold
would
on,
be-
let me pull this baby up. It's been a while since.
All right, you want to narrate? This is a narration scene to start with.
Yeah, you got to set it up for us at least.
Yes, I will set it up. Pawnbrokers by Matt Heath. This is very self-indulging, by the way. I'm sorry if my fans are against this. They wanted to hear more about Gabby and Warren.
All right.
No, I'm into it.
Oh, okay. All right. For the old man. Is it the old man from Pawn Stars, or is it my old man, or is it the old man that
see,
is based, one of these,
or is it your
characters
Are
is
you
based
the
on?
old man?
or am I the old man? You'll never know. You'll never know.
Because you don't know.
All right, Act 1, Scene 1. A wise man once said that a pawn shop is an epicenter of American culture. All types of people go into pawn shops, from the rich of the rich, looking for a certain something to fill that empty spot on their mantles, to the lowliest soul looking to sell what they can for cigarette money. The truth is, during the narration, the outside of a pawn shop is shown. People are walking in.
Are you going to read the stage directions too?
I guess I guess I gotta read some of them.
All right. Cut to.
Not that.
Rick Harrison is seen on a television. So the guy from Pawn Stars.
Yeah. You never know what's going to walk in that door. You sure don't. So you got something for me to take a look at? Yeah, I own this hat. It belonged to John Wayne.
Wait, are you?
I'm doing the Rick Harrison and the male customer.
I thought it would go like back and forth. No.
Well, you would be.
Well, if I'm only reading for Jimmy, I'm not. Oh, you know what? I'll read for the customer.
All right, let's try this again.
Yeah,
you never know what's going to come in that door.
You sure don't.
See, I got something for me to take a look at.
Yeah, I own this hat. It belonged to John Wayne.
Ooh, that's a once-in-a-lifetime item.
Gacy. It belonged to John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, no.
The camera pans away from the television to reveal a man sitting on his couch. The show is so fake. The doorbell rings. Jimmy opens the door to his apartment. Nadine enters. Jimmy moves in to kiss Nadine. Nadine ignores his advances and walks over to the couch. How was your flight, babe?
Sorry. I think we need to talk.
Damn right we do. You probably have so much to tell me about your trip. I haven't talked to you in a week, but it feels like it's been so much longer.
Well, Jimmy.
Hold that thought. I got something for you.
Jimmy takes a small box out of his pocket. He opens it up to reveal a ring with 2 intertwined hearts.
I met someone.
I know it's not much, but wait, what?
I'm sorry, but I'm leaving you.
But the ring in Ireland, you and we haven't talked in a week, and you cheated on me. You cheated on me. You cheated on me. Well, who the fuck is he?
What gives you the right to yell at me? Besides, you don't know them anyway.
Them?
Them? Them as in plural? How many guys did you fuck?
You have no right to talk to me that way. You know you're not a perfect person. I'm sick of the plebeian life you lead. Look at the stupid ring you're holding. I'm sure your boss Joe gave you a great discount, huh?
That is fucking rich. You go to Europe for 1 week, suddenly you're throwing around words like plebeian. Did you learn that giving hand jobs in a museum tour?
This is exactly like you, Jimmy. Sitting here in your hovel, staring at these 4 walls, never really knowing what's going on in the real world.
Wow. You've got it all in perspective now, don't you? You really did some real soul searching, huh? Well, let me tell you something. The name of the book was Around the World in 80 Days, not 80 Lays.
What are you talking about?
So how many guys did you fuck anyway?
Well,
never mind, I don't want to know.
Nadine breaks down in crocodile tears.
you're such an asshole, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm an asshole. You're crying and suddenly I'm a bad guy.
You're not a bad guy, Jimmy.
So why did you cheat on me?
Well,
I just want you to know that Nadine's kind of an antagonistic role. Like she's not the good girl in this reading, in this play.
So I should be like picking at you better?
What?
So I should be picking at you?
Well, Nadine's not the love interest.
Alright.
She's later. I'll just giving you some notes.
Am I not reading right?
No, you're reading just fine. I'm sorry.
Line.
I was like, I'm doing really
You're
well.
reading. Yeah, you're doing just great. Come on, just be honest with me.
You're just kind of small-worlded.
And what the fuck does that mean?
It means you're just a slob with a one-track mind. When you're not at work, you spend all your time on the couch, eating, drinking beer, and not cleaning up after yourself. You're hardly even a man. You're a self-absorbed, childish, alcoholic robot.
Robot. How dare you? I wish I hadn't asked.
Nadine storms out of Jimmy's apartment. Jimmy picks up a bottle of Jack Daniels, pours himself a shot, then drinks it.
This sucks.
Cut to Jimmy's car. Act 1, Scene 2. The scene opens with Travis and Jimmy driving to work together. Jimmy is driving. Plebeian life, huh? What the fuck does that even mean?
A week later and you're still asking me this?
What? Did I hit a sour note or something?
I just don't want to talk about it anymore, okay?
Hey, I care about you, man. That Nadine is a dirty whore, and you deserve better.
You know, not everybody I know is Italian.
I was like, should I be doing a more Italian voice for some reason?
I assumed they were all Italian.
I felt like
They're all
that.
Italian guys running this point. That's okay, sure. That's
the only accent I know.
They're all Italians.
I don't do a lot of impersonations.
Dude, it's okay. I say that about her. It's okay if I say that about her, but not you.
Why?
Because she was my girlfriend.
Your ex-girlfriend. Your whore of an ex-girlfriend who fucked the whole country while your back was turned.
Wait, are you a different...
He's Jewish.
Nationality now?
He's Jewish now.
Now you're a different nationality?
No, it's a religion.
Seems like you were... Never mind.
It was perhaps I was Jewish.
Just shut up.
You know what your problem is. You need to get out and fuck someone else. You'll feel better. Getting laid makes life better.
That's easy for you to say. You're married.
Yeah, I'm married with an infant child. If I had a moment to masturbate, it's a miracle. God bless.
That sounds awful.
Frankly, I prefer having a family that loves me with no time to jerk it than being a lonely, sad man such as yourself with nothing but time to jerk it.
You have a way with words. You know that?
Call me Bill fucking Shakespeare.
No.
Speaking of men with great oral talents, did you ever go down on Nadine?
Even if I did, I wouldn't tell you, man. That's the way you talk. You're crazy.
Did you?
Why do you bring that up?
I'm just trying to figure out why she would cheat on you. Did you?
Well, to be honest, no. She never lit me.
I think we have reason number 1 why she dumped you.
What? Come on, man. You ever go down on your wife?
No, but there's a difference. I'm married.
You make no sense, dude.
I make perfect sense. You, my friend, have a one-track mind, as it were.
Jimmy and Travis pull into the pawn shop and get out of the car.
Yeah. Act 1, Scene 3. Jimmy and Travis set up the pawn shop for the day. The song Dreamer by Supertramp plays in the background. Jimmy is seen wiping down the counters. Travis is seen turning on TVs. Jimmy is seen wiping down the front door. Travis is moving a motorcycle off the showroom floor into a display window. Jimmy is seen cleaning a poster of James Dean. Travis is seen turning on a We Buy Gold sign. Jimmy is seen turning on an open sign. Joe enters the pawn shop.
That's like,
You really create a picture in my mind with you use your words.
As soon as they open, I'm in there.
Morning!
Joe exits into his office.
Okay.
You ready to let these animals in?
Yeah.
Jimmy unlocks the door to officially open the store for the day. Tito enters. Tito sits at his workstation at his computer. Travis is dealing with a customer. Jimmy walks over to Tito.
Sup, buddy?
Tito is in a trance looking at something on the computer.
Still chasing that dream, huh?
Oh, yeah.
The odds of you actually being a contender are slim to none.
It can be done. It will be done.
Your wife will never let you do it. You're living in a fantasy land.
A man can play Donkey Kong professionally if he wants to. It's a free country. I was a professional poker player, goddammit. Why shouldn't I get the world record?
Why isn't Tito Spanish?
Because his father was actually from the Bronx. You'd think he was Spanish, but he was just sort of darker skinned. He was actually Middle Eastern, but the accent from where he was, I don't fucking know.
Oh, okay.
It's his character. He's allowed to create some of the backstory.
All right, fine.
I just feel I know Tito. Because Tito, I think of the vodka from Texas. He's
So
not Spanish.
He's a Texan named Tito.
Okay.
But
all
he's
right.
not Mexican. He's
Got it.
He's worked very hard to avoid that accent.
Is he Texican?
Ooh. Mexican?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
It is.
Texarkana.
I bring that movie Fistful of Quarters. We got it playing on the TV all the time, and now you're obsessed.
See, no, I'm not. So how are things with Nadine? Still broken up?
Why is that you and Travis always have to be asking about my personal life?
It's all us married guys have. You don't even like my accent? I'm trying it out for you today, Jimmy.
No.
Stick to the script.
Jeez, Warren.
Oh,
I'm Tito, thank you.
okay.
So you've been broken up a week, right?
Yeah.
So that means you banged like 7 different women already.
Jesus, dude, I wish I was that good.
Well, you are pretty fat.
Thanks!
And no girl wants a guy who scratches his stomach as much as you do.
Jimmy notices that he is scratching his stomach, then stops.
I thought you were on my side!
I'm sorry, I was just trying to help you out.
What is it with you guys and trying to help me?
You're in a rut.
I am not in a rut. The old man Travis has been dealing with chimes into the conversation. Yeah.
That was my problem.
Yeah, I think you're old man.
Wait, you want to be the old man?
Do it.
Yeah,
No,
give the old man a shot.
All right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's going to sound exactly... Or anyway. My man, I know a rut when I see one, and speaking from my own personal experience, I can tell a woman done ripped your heart out. It's it's got you all twisted up inside. You try to fill that hole in your heart with hoagies and drugs and peanut M&Ms and...
You use
Okay, I get your point. Is there anything else you need, sir?
You guys sell pornos?
No.
Cut to Joe's office. Act 1, Scene 4. The scene opens with Jimmy walking into Joe's office. What's up?
Hey, Joe, can I talk to you about something?
What? You didn't fuck up something, did you? What did you fuck up?
Nothing. I just wanted to know if you thought I was in a rut.
Of course you are.
Thanks, Joe. I knew you'd... Wait, what?
From the moment you started working here, you have not managed even remotely once to get your head out of your ass.
Well, this conversation wasn't really meant to be about work.
What the fuck is the problem then?
I don't know. Ever since me and Nadine broke up, I've just been depressed, I guess.
Okay, thank you for proving my point. It's time to get your head out of your ass. Jimmy, you are here to work. You are not here to talk to Tito about becoming a Donkey Kong champion. You're not here to watch Ghostbusters on the TVs we have out for sale. And you're certainly not here to jerk off and think about girls all day. Do I make myself clear?
I guess so.
Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy. What am I going to do with you?
I don't know.
Joe gets up from his chair in the office.
Okay, listen to Daddy Joe. Life is about taking steps forward.
Joe lunges and takes a giant step forward.
It's not about taking steps back. When you get older, you'll realize it's actually harder to take a step back.
Joe lunges again and this time takes a giant step back.
You understand? Ouch.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Joe leans against his desk and slowly sits back in his chair.
Okay.
Now get your head out of your ass, get back to work, Find something to clean or something, you soft-skulled moron.
Jimmy exits Joe's office.
Act 1, Scene 5. The scene opens with Jimmy standing at the workstation in the front of the store. Anna enters.
Hello, sir. This is my first time in a pawn shop, and I really don't know how it works. I was wondering if you could take a look at these pearls. I really don't want to sell them. They were my grandmother's. But I do have to pay the...
Anna, what are you doing here?
How did you know my... Jimmy? Is that you? You've gotten so much...
Fatter, I know. I tried yoga once in this place, and something happened where, well, let's just say I could never go back.
Well, actually, I was going to say taller, but, you know, it's good. It's so good to see you.
Same to you. It's like a breath of fresh air, almost. So what are you doing here in Hartford? When we were graduating high school, you were going to move to New York City to go to art school. I thought you'd be a famous artist by now.
You're so sweet. But to tell you the truth, I actually dropped out of art school and moved back here to Connecticut. It turns out that being an artist doesn't pay the bills as well as I thought it would.
I guess the term starving artist reigns true for you, huh?
Looks down at her shoes.
So, what did you want me to look at?
Oh, right. These pearls.
Anna takes the pearls out of her purse.
They were my grandmother's, and I really don't want to sell them, but, well, you know, rent time in the city.
Jimmy takes the pearls from Anna, gently grazing her hand.
Anna, I'd love to give you a loan on these, but my boss won't let me take pearls. There's no actual way to test pearls to see if they're real or not.
Why is that?
Well, we have a machine to test diamonds and chemicals to test gold.
What kind of chemicals?
Jimmy picks up a small bottle from underneath the counter.
Just this stuff here, it kind of turns your hands orange if you touch it.
Jimmy puts the bottle back on the counter and does not realize that he's knocked it over and it's spilling.
So there's no way to test these pearls, huh?
No, I'm real sorry. I believe that they're real, but my boss would kill me if he found out that I bought them. Is there anything else you'd want to sell?
Well, I don't really have anything of value. There's nothing in my car except some painting equipment and a few paintings.
So you still paint?
Yeah, of course. It's my life after all.
Bring them in. I want to see them.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Anna exits the pawn shop. Travis walks over to Jimmy. Humana. Who was that you were talking to?
A girl I knew in high school.
You're not going to do anything stupid, are you?
Of course not. Give me some room, dude. I'm trying to make moves.
All right.
Anna enters the pawn shop with the 3 paintings as Travis walks to the back of the store.
Well, here you go. I know they're nothing special.
You kidding me? These are great.
Jimmy takes the paintings from Anna to look at them.
You really think so?
Of course. Hey, how much money did you need for those pearls anyway?
Well, about $150 is what I needed for rent.
I'll give you $50 each for these paintings.
Oh my God, please don't do that. They're not worth anything.
Are you kidding me? $50 each is the least I could do for these priceless artifacts.
Jimmy, I don't know what I could do to thank you.
How about a date?
A date?
You sound pretty disgusted.
Did it? I thought I sounded excited. A date? I thought I sounded excited, though.
Is that your excited voice?
I guess. I don't know. It's all kind of just the same. I'm a little bit. And I'm trying too. Like, these are my
Right.
characters. A date. Is that better?
Yeah, can I pick you up around 7?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Here's my number and address.
Anna takes a piece of paper from her purse and scribbles down her information.
Well, I'll see you then.
Okay, great. You forgot to pay me for the paintings, though.
Oh, yeah, I'll be right back. Take a look around the store if you want.
Jimmy stumbles off to the back room with a stupid glazed look on his face. Anna looks into a case and her eyes light up. Jimmy comes back and hands her the money.
There you go.
Jimmy, can I take a look at that right there in the case?
What, that stuffed Yoshi?
Yeah.
Jimmy takes the stuffed Yoshi out of the case and hands it to Anna.
Oh my God, I love him.
I've always hated Yoshi.
What? Why would you say that?
I don't know, maybe because Mario rides him?
And that's like the funnest part of the game. Mario gets to ride on this cute little pet dinosaur. What's wrong with that?
I don't know, about a million things. Yoshi is more than just a pet. He is smart enough to drive a car, and he has even talked on certain occasions. Now, I don't know about you, but the fact that Mario would ride around on his friend like a horse is strange and off-putting to me.
Wow, Jimmy, you truly haven't changed since high school. You still have a one-track mind. Try looking at it this way. What if you lived in Middle-earth and you were a knight and wouldn't ride your centaur if you had a chance? Oh, you wouldn't ride your centaur if you had a chance.
No, it should be would you ride a centaur if you had the chance.
That's all right.
There's a typo.
Is that the first one?
No, I was supposed to ask a couple of questions
I'm gonna
there,
give you,
but I just felt like my...
I'm going to show you the difference between your, and there. But we'll save that for another day.
Don't worry about it. On sale with typos and everything on
I already
Amazon.com.
got my copy. You want to get the original before they fix the mistakes. It'll be worth way more.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
that's true.
Sorry, where were we? No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Because just like Mario and Yoshi, a centaur and a knight have a weird dominating relationship. Plus, the whole thing just seems kind of gay. Also, don't you think Mario should at least have the common courtesy to ask Yoshi if he can ride him before he just jumps on top of him?
It's obvious that you're not looking at the big picture. A knight wouldn't ask to ride a centaur, and neither would Mario. He's with Yoshi. They all have one common goal, and that is to save the princess. Yoshi wants to get Mario there as quickly as possible.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, here you go.
Anna tries to hand the plush Yoshi toy back to Jimmy.
Nah, just take him.
Really?
Yeah, I insist. That toy has been sitting here for a while. Anyways, plus, Yoshi deserves to be with the princess.
Wow, thanks, Jimmy. That's really sweet of you.
Anna exits the pawn shop.
What do you guys think so far?
That was the whole first act.
Yeah, no, I like it. I just can't tell if I'm supposed to be mean or if I'm supposed to be...
Anna's the love interest, and she's also an intelligent artist. So you don't
Nadine, who's a whore.
Nadine is a
Are these people, like, is this story about your life at all?
It's loosely based on my life, and I wrote the story in college when I worked at a pawn shop. So it is kind of like I'm having a lot of memories just reading this with other people because I've never done that before.
Really? What was your goal in writing these? Like, did you think, like, oh, maybe somebody's going to be like, I put this off Broadway? I don't know.
Well, I think my goal initially was I wanted to make a movie. I wanted to be like Kevin Smith because he wrote Clerks.
Right.
And I was like, I worked at a pawn shop. I was like, what if we made
a video store?
Yeah,
Like
what if we made a movie about this pawn shop?
How far did you get? I wrote the book, Warren. That's what I got.
Yeah, I will happily play both characters better now that I've read it once through.
Right. It's a cold read.
This podcast is usually only about an hour, but you guys want to keep reading this, or
I say we read enough. You don't want to give away the story for free.
Yeah. What do you think? No,
I got a copy at home, and I like buying. You know what? If I have friends or people I know who do like,
all right, art, you don't want to. I don't want to read because you want the listener, whoever's listening to this podcast, maybe they'll actually buy the play.
That's
well,
right.
I have to buy this now. I got a bunch of glitter and sparkles.
And maybe some.
Well, you could have that copy for free, seeing that you.
Well, thank you.
You did this experimental podcast with me.
I think you gave my broken up girlfriend one. Either that or she stole Renaissance Man.
How dare that woman?
Bitch. I'll give you another 5.
Well, anyways, is there anything you guys want to plug or talk about before we
well, do you want
wrap
to do?
up?
Did you want to keep going, only reading the book and then kind of just kick us out, or did you want to keep going with the podcast as well?
Yeah, that's why I think he was moving us back to the podcast potentially, or wrapping up. Or any
either or. I was planning on wrapping this up, but is there more you guys want to talk about?
Maybe 1 or 2. Why don't you get into comedy, Gabby?
Thank you for taking a lead back into the questions here. I got kind of lazy with it.
I didn't know what we were doing, and I was just about to pocket this book and a few more actually. But I got into comedy because it was something I just saw myself doing in the long run. I didn't take any steps toward it until the improv class. So I was just ready to do something that was funny and made me laugh in my life. So I took the improv class by accident.
By accident?
Yeah, that was a little bit embarrassing. I walked in the first time and I was like, I thought this was like a one night blah, 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 talk to the comedians, get suggestions about how to... That's how it was advertised on the website.
Right.
And I was like, great, let's do this. I was coming with my friend Chris. Chris bailed last minute. I walked in and I was like, I thought this was the one night only kind of deal. Like, there's only 6 people in here. And then they explained it was a class. I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. So Renee invited me to sit. She's like, if you like the first one, come back. And I obviously thought, I'm way smarter than these people, so I'll just get the packet that you gave me, and then I'll be hilarious somehow. And I liked it a lot, so I went back the next week because I wasn't that funny at all, apparently. Yeah, and I met a bunch of men that had aspiring comedians. That's what it was. I was going to say men that had some pretty good jokes about their ex-wives, but...
That's right. That's how I first got into it. That's why I said I did it.
I think it's like 50% of guys, how they get started.
Yeah, you get divorced.
They're so fed up with their spouse, they always want to try comedy.
So I play like I don't know where I am or what I'm doing or what's going on to pick up dudes.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I know. Somebody had set me up with this girl in New York, and I just went to go see her for like the weekend. Not even for like a night. And we ended up going to a comedy club, and I was like, oh, I always wanted to do this. And there was a sign there. I was like, oh, take the comedy class. So I only barely just met this girl, and I was like, oh, can I come stay with you for the next 6 weeks?
Right.
And I'm thinking because hotels in New York are expensive, so I got a place to stay. She thinks, since I've been visiting her for 6 weeks in a row, I'm her boyfriend now. And
can I move in with you for 6 weeks? Did you sleep in her bed?
I didn't yes.
Okay.
I thought that was the price.
Yeah.
If someone stays at my place, that's the price.
You think that just women using and abusing your body is the price that you pay in New York City instead of a hotel?
That's what I figured. that was my logic. She was ready to get married. She was at that. So yes, the class ended. I mean, I didn't stay for 6 weeks.
It wouldn't be the first time a comic shacked up with a woman to
save on hotels
to get ahead in the comedy game.
Can I stay with you for 6 weeks?
But for 6,
I will pay you with my body.
Yeah, I took her to dinner. I think maybe I don't remember. Probably I don't know. It was New York. We probably went out. I would come in. Yeah. So the class ended. She's like, "Oh, when are you coming back?" I'm like, "Huh?" And then she came out to visit me once in Colorado, and I was like, well, I got to go back and forth from Florida to Colorado. I got a business. She's like, I'll move here, and I was like, what? And that was the most uncomfortable ride, giving somebody back to the check. Take me to the airport now. I was like,
I gotta say, after reading that script with you guys, is it just stand up you want to, or you guys want to get into acting, or?
yeah, I try to do anything like. I mean, I've been a lawyer for the last fucking 20 years or so.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
Same.
yeah, Gabby too. She's 29, but she's been doing it since
Don't.
she was a child. For the third time or fourth time.
You're just making it worse.
Oh, you want to be younger now?
You're just not mentioning it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
fine. Keep
Matt
going
will
on.
cut that out. No one cared
Keep
until you
going.
pointed it out.
I'm not gonna cut it out, but it was pretty rude that you didn't mention her age.
Like,
on
Gabby's
the
29,
podcast.
as you could tell by the podcast and her voice.
That's right.
She sounds like an old lady.
No, I tried to do. I was just in had like a little part in a movie with Ron Jeremy, which I thought was pretty cool.
Okay, gay porn is not a little part in the movie.
Well,
Like
I mean,
that's.
I just had to pretend to gag, but I didn't really gag. No, I did. Yeah, it was a movie.
Are you guys willing to do pornography?
You always got to bring up Ron Jeremy, don't you? That's actually how I plan on starting my comedy career.
Through pornography?
Yeah, I mean, might as well get out there to a lot of people quickly,
Well,
and then
it is.
tame
You know
them.
what? You know what's
it is a good way to back a lot of the money because
You know
it's like you're not only going to make a
I
lot of money.
got our $1 million
first
idea
through
now
comedy.
sitting right here. You know what's not out there? Comedic porn. I can't think.
Oh,
is
it's
there
it's out there. It's not
Some
advertised as
of
that.
it's pretty funny.
but there's actually comedic.
Have you
porn.
seen a tennis instructor get that mad for hitting out of bounds?
Ooh, that's
No.
funny.
Only on porn.
Only on.
Only
and John
porn.
McEnroe. Oh, too young.
No, I'm not.
Okay. You got an old soul for a very young person.
Like, you're not the only one who met Ron Jeremy, by the way. So
I know you did too, but I don't want to
you don't want to talk about it.
lie.
How was
You just
that?
weren't
What
in
was
the-
that like meeting Ron
you just weren't in the
Jeremy?
movie.
I wasn't in a movie.
Did you
with
both
him.
meet him at the same time?
did not.
Or?
Yeah.
No.
I met him at the porn conference down in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in college. And he asked me on a date, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go?
No, my mom had bought me these shirts, air quotes, to wear to the gym.
Right.
Just some shirts you can beat up and nobody gives a shit about. But one of them said, I fuck on the first date.
It's a good shirt.
And so
That's to go to that festival.
that's the only place I would really wear.
That takes some real ovaries. It takes
I wear
some,
mine all the time.
takes some real
She
lady
got me, like, 4
balls
or
to wear
5
a
of
shirt
those
like
shirts.
that.
So I was like, I'm never going to wear this in public. Definitely not at the gym when I'm trying to, look good and not too slutty. But I wore it to the porn convention, and the 85-year-old ticket taker asked me on a date, and also Ron Jeremy asked me on a date. A bunch of other people did too, but Ron Jeremy was the memorable one, and the 85-year-old ticket taker.
I wonder where Ron Jeremy would have taken you for that date.
He just looked at me. He said, I would love to take you on a date. I just stood there almost starstruck, but wow, you're kind of creepy and sexy at the same time. And he walked away right after.
Is he? I think he's the only person in pornography the only man in pornography that people get starstruck when they see him.
Right, for some
Yeah,
reason.
There can't be any
Because
other
the look-
guy in
he has
pornography.
such a distinct look with the pervy mustache and the real long thin hair. That's
Right? He's almost like the missing member of Crosby, Stills and Nash. He's it's almost like he's a spokesperson of a generation of pornography. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he went a different direction with his talents.
It was a smart move, I would say.
Yeah, I got it. But how was your date with Ron?
How was my date with Ron Jeremy? I didn't even. You asked the original question, if we want to bring it back, was do you want interest in stuff besides stand up? Yeah, I like
gay porn.
Gay porn. That's my passion.
Wow.
My true talent, is also gay porn. But besides, if I didn't do gay porn, I mean, just anything. I try to be in movies, or I'm a big Penn and Teller fan.
Yeah.
And they're always doing
And you'd like to do a porn parody of Penn and Teller?
Sure, I could do that. Why does it have to be a parody? Why can't I just do a real porn?
Because you said you wanted to do porn comedy.
True.
You did say
But as
that
comedic
first.
magicians, perhaps it wouldn't have to only be a parody. Could be a straight. Okay, fine. You're right. But yeah, I produced a couple movies. Well, by produced, I sent them money and they let me have small parts in.
All right, we are
no one's gonna get
over
this far.
our normal amount of time, but we
Well, you had two comics.
we could keep going if you guys want.
I mean, it's 2 comics. Don't you get twice as much time?
Do you want to?
Is this because I took off my cardigan? Like you're overwhelmed now? You're like, all right, you guys.
Gabby's showing
got
shoulders.
I don't know if
here.
you're getting uncomfortable because it's hot and the AC needs to go
No,
back
I'm
on,
never
or
hot.
or
I'm
you
good.
guys
I'm always
are
good.
just like down to hang, like you like podcasting.
Oh yeah, I got.
You guys were looking forward to this all day. You're like, well, let's podcast
I've
the
been
fuck
calling
out of it.
Warren forever. I was like, I gotta.
I know. I thought Matt.
Gotta do
Matt
this.
only invited Gabby, and I was like, oh well,
I think he did too, but we kind of just
it was a
got
miscommunication.
involved.
You're both comedians. You both started at the same time. You both work together. Therefore, I definitely got to have you on together.
So at this rate, when will you hit 1,000?
When do you? That's a good question. Where did the beers go?
Yeah, did you just take him over there and stash him behind
I think
you?
you just stuck them
I
right
put
there.
them up there.
From car box.
Here, give me the rest of
The
those.
beers are hiding on us, guys.
Perfect. I'll just take my small selection of beers here. Wonderful. That was.
And Gabby will tell you, I don't drink. This is
Just
my
have them
second
all.
beer, so I'm very
Right
excited.
here, if you want.
Thank you for the beers.
No problem.
Alright, here we go.
Yeah, so that was a beer break. Yes, I want to. I don't know what my goal is in like what I want to do. A few months ago, I was like, oh, I want to host something and introduce people. Like, okay, well, I've done. I mean, not that I've done and mastered it or anything, but like, yeah, apparently that's not like the highest level of goal. So I don't. I think I would.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. A headliner, headliner is you do perform for the longest amount of time, and it's like but it's at the same time it's not for everybody. Being a headliner is not for everybody.
I mean, I don't. How well do you know the comedy business? The business. Actually, what it would mean to be a headline. Not like a nationally known, but just somebody who can like do the circuit. Like every weekend, you're in a different city and you're doing 4 shows.
Well, listening to like Mark Maron's podcast, I listen to. If you listen to his and Tom Segura's, they kind of like talk about what kind of money the comics make in a place like the Comedy Store. So it kind of like puts everything into perspective, and it really made me realize it's like, well, comedians like do well, but they're not like rich. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. Unless you're on TV for doing
Right. I
some
mean, it's like the elite people
improv
that everyone.
kinda.
But what I'm saying is, stand up, like club work, is only going to get you so far.
I mean, I don't know if you want to share. Like what does a decent comedian get who's doing like the improv in West Palm Beach on a Friday, Saturday night?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I wouldn't be able to give you that figure. But I'm sure they pay them well.
Yeah. I mean, I think as they grow up, gain a following. Then you start getting a piece of the door, a piece of the alcohol sales.
Unless you start with porn.
Unless you start with the porn.
I'm sure a headlining show at the Improv is at least enough to pay the rent for that month.
Yeah, I'm sure. If it's a
Right.
headline of the improv, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they have good crowds. I mean, I was there Sunday night. They had Mike Epps or somebody was there, and there was Sunday night. They had a huge line down the street. But
Yeah, the lines at that place get kind of crazy.
I went in line just to get the Blue Martini tickets.
Yeah.
They're like, ladies drink free, here's my signature. I'm like, okay.
that's why there was 2 lines there. That makes sense.
No, I was in line with the improv because they hand them off.
Oh, I hate because the bounce.
And then I
back.
just go to Cheesecake after.
That's genius. Gary really knows how to work the system. It's good.
Come on, please.
Yeah. So what's your goal? What do you want to?
My goals?
Yeah.
My goal is to move back to Connecticut and
You're achieving that one in a week. So.
yeah, I'm not sure. I want to keep this podcast going. I want to keep. I'm finding I'm starting to like this more than I like stand up in a way.
Really?
In a way, because I love stand up. I mean, there's like getting a crowd like really going is like there's nothing like it. But at the same time, like this kind of like has a different there's a different take on it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I got a podcast, but it's not comedic. I mean, I do it with another attorney. It's supposed to be kind of funny.
An attorney podcast.
That's not
Woo.
funny.
You've never listened to it.
I have listened to it. I really like the sound effects.
Will I learn how to sue people?
You might.
No.
Yeah, I'll plug it. I'll plug it.
Will I start making more money if I listen to your attorney podcast?
You won't make less.
Sold.
Check out. So I want to show you how to get like on because your podcast. You can only find this on YouTube.
Go ahead and plug your podcast on my podcast.
It's Reasonable Men, and you can actually find it on iTunes.
Reasonable Men on iTunes.
Yes. Or anywhere you want your favorite podcast.
And it's free on iTunes?
It's free on iTunes.
Whoa!
You can't beat that. Yeah, I got to show you how to get your podcast on iTunes.
I'm not worried about that right now. I like having it on one station. I like being able to be found in one place.
You can also go to reasonablemen.com and it'll bring you all the proper links.
So your podcast got a website.
I'm surprised that wasn't already taken.
Yeah, reasonablemen.com. It just sounds it sounds unreasonable
that
that you could get that as a website.
I have some great. You know what? I've been collecting websites.
Yeah,
I have some good ones.
Was this one of the films you produced?
No, the best website that I want to.
You have 1000comics.com.
I do. I'll sell it to you I'll trade you for 2 books. I guess. I got beyourownpornstar.com is my site.
Oh, that's why. Never mind.
Is that where you go for work?
That's why I couldn't get the. So when I tried to name it in.
I've been paying for it for like 10 years. I'm eventually going to do something with it. Maybe once this law career things, I'm ready for that to be done.
Be your own porn star.
.com and .xxx because I bought it that way too. Yeah, it's a good site. Don't roll your eyes.
No, it is a good site.
You know you're going to check it out later.
You're going to definitely sell that ASAP. That's what a lot of women my age think nowadays.
You know, sell that
just
ASAP?
be my own porn star.
Yeah, that's it. Well, the key to it was I was trying to use my lawyer brain also was to make prostitution sort of legal. You'd go to the website, Be Your Own Porn Star, you'd pick out your script and your locale and the talent, and you'd pay to produce it, which essentially you'd be filming a porno, but really you're just paying for a hooker. That was my back-end idea. I used to keep it secret, but it's been 10 years, and I'm not doing anything with it. So run with that.
That's your idea? Wait, so what? I thought you meant let the women go on the site.
No, the women are the fucking hookers. But they on our site, they are actresses, and so you pick the script, because the scripts
You pick the porn actress.
Right, well you pick the script. Here's the beauty of this whole site, because the scripts will cost different amounts to license, but really, this script's got anal in it. That costs more than just an oral script. And then you pick the talent. You like black, white, Chinese, Spanish?
Oh,
fat,
okay.
White. So you picked your actress, and her talent fee as an actress.
Fat, white?
Well, those are they can be mutually exclusive.
So men will pay to make pornos with these women. So wow.
It's like a way to.
So they can have sex.
Right. I mean, apparently, I hear that some men will actually pay for sex. They will go out there and pay. Have you heard of this?
I mean,
they go out and
I've
pay women to
never
have.
been one of those.
You've never done that?
So.
No. I've been around long.
Here's the thing: you make a website like that, and I feel like the guys that are willing to go and use a website like that are already like diving into making their own pornography, anyways.
Well, I mean,
so like, why would they use that website? You know what I mean?
I'm thinking of the businessman who's in West Palm Beach.
It's like I'm not gonna pay you to make my fucking porno.
I'm not
like,
making
you know
the
what
porno.
I'm not making any pornos either. I'm just saying, like it's a very shabby business model.
That's probably illegal as well.
But if it eliminates a pimp and all those overhead
well,
charges,
I'm essentially the pimp. I get a cut.
Yeah, but there's like one giant one, and
right.
Corporate prices, you get most of the money yourself.
You can be top bitch for a lot.
This is very intellectual South Florida humor. I think we're leaning towards in this podcast. My northern fans are going to be like, "What the hell are these Floridians talking about?"
I lived on Park Avenue, people. Fuck you all. And the first open mic I did after taking the class was in Colorado, and I just looked up online, open mic. I showed up there, got my 5 minutes all ready to go.
Right.
And the guy's like, "Where's your instruments?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "This is a music open mic." I go, "Really? I just drove an hour to get here." He's like, "You can go." So I was the only one doing stand-up.
Wow.
At the place they're waiting for music.
So you were the comedian of the night. At the
I
bar.
was the comedian guy who
you were the comedian everybody went to see.
had just done 6 weeks at Caroline's.
That was your first time on stage?
Besides, like, the class graduation,
Right.
which was just friends and...
So after you're done with the class, you go to a music open mic, the guy's like, what are you doing?
And that basically shocked me for 10 years. I didn't do it again for 10 years.
What about you, Gabby? What was your first time doing stand-up like?
Well, I did the class, so not counting the graduation.
Right.
Felber.
Was it?
Yeah.
Felber?
We were like, all right, we got to keep doing it. We got to do open mics
Yeah,
every
we
day.
went to the brew house, right? That's where it's
Yeah, with
We
Wayne
went to the brew
Felber.
house with Wayne Felber,
Okay.
and we signed up, like a reasonable number too. And I went up, and it was a bunch of more so artistic people than analytical people, like myself.
Right.
Good.
More so into the arts. It was.
The artsy open mics sometimes are like that's a good way to get your foot in the door, I think.
They didn't love my jokes about corporate America or fucking with kids or
They didn't like my
sexual
misogynistic-
harassment. Like,
Right. They would love your stuff.
yeah, they looked at me like, oh, poor girl.
You know something? I guess I could see how you would have a tough time fitting in the artsy crowd, just because I think from watching your stand up, I feel like if you're a strong feminist, they wouldn't like you.
Oh, am I a strong feminist?
No.
Feminists would not like you.
Feminists wouldn't like you because just the way I feel like just the way you talk about like men, like in your stand up.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
your boss touching your thigh on your first day of work and
Yeah.
and going with it and going like, what took you so long? Basically.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's hilarious.
I don't know.
The
I
feminists,
grew up
I
in
think
a
the
time
crowd.
where if a woman worked in certain positions, it seemed as if it was done by sexual harassment. That's
Right.
what I learned growing up. Like, why should that be any different now that I am an adult and like trying to fulfill those roles? You know. No, I always heard warnings and rumors and.
All true.
Yeah, when I worked in corporate America, people could barely fucking make eye contact with me. They'd be like, oh, hey, Gabby, have a nice day. And they would look away as if to avoid fraternizing with the enemy, I guess.
That's good advice.
So I don't know,
I have a tough time I have a tough time talking to beautiful people at the workplace.
I don't think I was I kind of just,
Did you do your makeup for work?
no.
Gabby can go
Don't even
2
get
ways.
here.
She can
I
do her
mean,
makeup.
come on, you're still a good-looking woman, though. Like,
Thank you.
so I think, let's just say, for instance, if me and you both worked at like a Walgreens, we were talking about CVS or CVS.
Walgreens, that place.
Talking about
Used to be.
Walgreens is a much better version of CVS.
Right.
So if we both worked there,
It's no
I would
tickets.
want to keep my job at Walgreens. I probably would avoid talking to you as much as possible.
Right, but there was no HR.
No?
No, it was.
Yeah,
commission
Walgreens
based
sounds like
on-
they have like a real HR.
Yeah,
the insurance
Walgreens is
company.
a corporation, and they don't want their name
But
going
you said
down
you
with it.
worked for corporate America,
I did.
and there's
I did.
and you can't. There's no HR.
No HR.
It was like small corporate. It was like a big insurance
Yeah.
company.
If it's really corporate, you should have HR. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah.
That was one of the jokes we would make at the office. Like, you would
How
pretend
could
to
it-
pick
how
up
could
your
it
phone and be
really
like,
be
hello,
corporate?
HR? Like, no. It just didn't really happen.
Did you hate your job back
I
then?
hated every second of it for an entire year and 1 month.
You would just go home, get drunk, watch The Office, and go like, "This is the hell." I'm living."
I could write something funnier than this. What are they
Yeah,
making funny? That gym.
Yeah, no, I would wake up in the morning,
You were real depressed. You were watching The British Office.
I would like drive to
When
work,
they ever get together.
talking shit to everybody in traffic. I would get to work and just like very subtly talk shit to everybody at work. And then the next 2 days I didn't have to see them. And I'd go in on Thursday and I'd talk shit to them all day. I was so sick of seeing those people. They were all...
When did you start wearing a fanny pack all the time?
2 years ago.
So it wasn't simultaneously when you started doing comedy.
No.
I was under the impression you started taking a comedy class. You're like, I'm
boss-
wearing a fanny pack all the time.
My boss
That's
in
funny.
corporate America called me into his office one day. And
Right.
I walked in. I was very professional. I dressed well, whatever. Like, all my clothes match the fanny packs that I have. So I'm like, fuck it. I need to carry this pen and a
Right.
highlighter for no reason.
Yeah.
And also some tape that I'm never going to use. But I needed all my fanny pack at one time, and I'm going to act around, like I'm going to walk around with purpose.
Right.
And I did. My boss called me in. He said, "Is that a fanny pack?" And I called it an efficiency pack.
Should be
An
pointed
agility
out.
efficiency pack.
Let's because the audience clearly can't see your fanny pack. You wear nice fanny packs. They look like you buy them in the same place where you'd buy a purse or like a nice purse or something. What brand is it?
Herschel.
Right.
The Herschel fanny packs.
Do they make purses?
They do. They make backpacks. They make duffel bags. They do heavy duty kind of
Anything you could put stuff
durable.
All right. I'm just.
Storage.
This is a conversation topic just because you wear the fanny pack even when you're on stage doing comedy. You wear it.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna go up without my tape.
These are the kind of personality quirks, though, a stand-up comedian has to have to make it in comedy, though, I'm telling you. So your boss says, what's with the fanny pack? And
Yeah, and I told him it was for efficiency. I called it an agility pack.
Right. You should
And-
call it a utility belt. You're like Batman.
I only have tape though, and it's like Scotch tape.
Anywhere.
Yeah, but
Anywhere
the,
paper is
the,
written.
the old school, the Adam West Batman, like he didn't really have anything that was that like important, anyways.
That
It's
tape
like
would be better.
some string.
Sometimes I have pepper spray.
Sometimes. Depends where you're going.
Sometimes.
You ever keep icebreakers in there?
No.
I think
Cushion rest down.
that's the perfect candy to keep in there because it's a mint, but it's also kind of like a fruity.
The problem though with those little mints is you walk where she'll shuffle like ching, 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 ching. Gabby's coming.
Yeah.
She also, she's got her fanny pack and her Monroe's baseball cap on.
This is my favorite baseball cap right now.
It's her favorite baseball
I
cap.
got a hat from the Mers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what? Your what happened with your boss? Did he like tell you to stop wearing it or?
No, he just looked at me and kind of smiled. I also wear my knee-high rubber galoshes in when it's raining really bad.
Right.
In fairness, they're hot. And she knows it.
They're rain boots.
They're hot.
They are not really
You know that.
permitted. Like, it's not
But it's raining out, so you can
business
wear 'em.
professional to wear shiny green rain boots.
Mm.
But,
And they're less than great. They're officially galoshes, right? That's
Yeah.
fair to say.
yeah.
Do you guys want to go to Dada's tonight to do stand up?
We considered it. As you said, depending how taxing Matt's interview is.
It's been a difficult night.
Oh, yeah.
We
A
did
difficult
what?
interview.
You guys don't even want to leave.
Right? We got free beer here, free books.
Is it time? What time does it start?
Probably right at 10, so it's fine.
Dada's at 10 tonight.
Yeah, we could if we leave
Tuesdays.
right now. We'll get on the list. We'll get to go up there.
Yeah, and I don't have.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's do
Does
it.
sound
Anybody
good?
who's listening before this is even posted, we'll be at Dada's in 10 minutes.
We'll be in, but if you're in the crowd listening, you'll probably see Gabby and Warren at Dada's. If you go there try going there any given Tuesday, you might see them pop in. It's one of their usual places.
Find us on the robot on Tuesdays.
You
I
won't
wear
see
a
me
fanny
there because I'm
pack.
moving back to Connecticut. But
Right.
also check out Gabby and Warren's show at the West Palm Brewery.
Or wherever it may be in the future if they don't treat us right.
I thought we were talking about Be My Own Porn Star.
Do you have any websites, Facebooks, and Twitters you'd like to promote, guys?
Because I don't even think Matt knows our last name, so we might as well share those at this point.
I forgot. I'm going to be
It's
honest.
alright, it happens. I forget.
It's Gabby LaRusso and
Yeah.
Warren
KirschBaum.
I'm
KirschBaum.
very Italian.
Right, that's how I would describe you.
Molto bene. Gabby LaRusso and Warren Kirschbaum.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You're going back to Connecticut. You should get that right. Some Jews up there. They'd appreciate it.
You shouldn't have called me out on not knowing the last. I would have gotten it right in the monologue, and no one would have ever known.
Right
down the names are easier.
Oops. My bad.
My Facebook is facebook.com/Gabby Does Comedy, GABBY. And then the rest is spelled as you would expect, Does Comedy. And my Instagram is Hella_Gabriella. Should I?
Nice. That's it. There you go. Yeah, my Facebook's /Warren SK. And then Twitter, just Warren K, which I thought was a pretty good one to get. I think you have to.
You just got Warren K for your Twitter too. This guy gets all the good
I got it
online handles.
That's the advantage of being.
Brain.
I had it 10 years ago, and I never even used Twitter until like just the last few months. And because somebody tried to reset the password, it was like email came in. I'm like, oh, I got Warren K. That's pretty good one to get. So I had my first post. If someone goes to it, they'll see the first post is 10 years after the account was created, and I said, here's my first post. And then I commented it on like a work Twitter.
Well, thank you guys for being on the 1,000 Comics podcast.
Thanks
for having us.
Awesome. We'll be at Dada's. Good night.